Hello, my name is Mercy. I'm going to be presenting late 19th century primary and higher education. Before we begin, all my quotes are not in text cited. They can be found in works cited. Education is the first step for people to gain knowledge, critical thinking, empowerment, and skills they need to make this world a better place. If you recall in the 13th Virtues of Benjamin Franklin, he urges every human being to use time wisely. In his words, to always being employed in something useful. So whatever you do, make sure that you're using your time to better yourself. Late 19th century primary and higher education. Education is the first step to gain knowledge, as I stated. It is important to know that in the United States, most higher education institutions were established prior to 19th century, and they were mostly privately controlled. Harvard in Massachusetts, founded in 1636, Yale in Connecticut, 1701, Princeton in New Jersey, 1746. The list goes on. One second here. But this was not always the case. A century ago, the USA higher education system was not yet the finest in the world. In many of the sciences, for example, German universities reigned supreme. Prior to 19th century, many Americans were educated in German in fields such as science and medicine because we're not sophisticated. We didn't have a system that was sophisticated enough to start the science and medicine institution. The transformation of our education system. When the federal government and state government decided to intervene in the matters of education in order to provide primary and higher education to all citizens by funding schools, that is when the radical change happened in education system. Prior to that, education system was pretty much accessible to wealthy families. There was a great enrollment after the decision for the government to intervene. The structure of knowledge began to change radically in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Many students were intrigued by joining the school, especially higher education. A strong positive relationship exists between state and local higher education spending per capita. In 1929 and more recently, there's considerably persistence in governmental commitment to public institution of higher education. Late in the 19th century, the United States took an approach that changed the education system forever. That was the specialization of certain subjects that began in science, math, social, and natural courses, or categorization began. Academic subject had become increasingly subdivided and specialized, first in the sciences, a little bit better later in social sciences and engineering, and then finally filtering into the humanities and history. Specialized fields began to emerge that were taught by separate faculty and housed in separate academic departments. The peak of our education system. Near the end of 19th century, United States was and is today among the finest education systems in the world. One evidence being the amount of attraction our education system precedes, as well as the people she produces in general. First and foremost, it is a system of world-renowned excellence in teaching and research. USA colleges and universities attract students and faculty from the world all over. Our global trade position in higher education is 11% of all USA graduates. Students are not USA nationals. It is not one indication of Americans' excellence and a comparative advantage. In conclusion, it is important to know that our education system has many defects and disparities. There's always resource and funding distribution, competition among schools, leaving communities of color underfunded, and in early and late 19th century, many institutions did not accept women and African Americans living a big disadvantage in terms of advancement. Um, these are the works cited here, all of this. Also, my Google sources is here. You can find all the photos I use on Google. If you have any question, you can email me. Thank you.